There are so many reasons why you might come to York. There is amazing history here, beautiful architecture, there's always some sort of event going on, and of course there are bookshops. Whilst it's probably not going to be your main draw to the city, if you're here for another reason and you're bookish, you're going to want to have a look around. There are some absolutely fantastic independent bookshops here in York. There are of course your standards like Debutsmiths and Waterstones, as well as the works, and whilst those can be fantastic, the Waterstones that is here in York has a cafe, has a wonderful giant non-fiction section and some amazing selections. You might want to go for an indie alternative instead. Another option you could go for is the charity books. There are so many charity shops in York that specify for books alone. They are all fantastic. Of course you can pick your charity of choice. One of my favourite is the Amnesty International one. Those are for a different video if I ever make that one. This one is just for the independent new book bookshops. The first I'm going to mention today is the Blue House Bookshop. This is actually just next door to Jeanette Ray's Antique Bookshop. That one is very rarely open. You usually have to book in advance, but if that's your sort of thing, there you go. But the Blue House Bookshop is filled on the ground floor with books for young children. Go upstairs and there is a middle grade and YA section, as well as then a small adult section, so something for everyone. It's not too far from the York Art Museum, but it is a little bit out of York's very tight city centre, so if you're not the most mobile, it might not be the best choice for you. I do love this shop, however. It has got some absolutely gorgeous architecture and some really good selection of books in here, especially if you are looking for the YA and under categories. Then continuing on the same road going towards the city centre in the direction of the Minster is the Little Apple Bookshop. This is a lot more like your traditional bookshop where the majority of the titles are intended for adults, but there is also a YA and a kids section in the back. This is another one that is great. You can actually use this if you live in and around the area as a way to order in your books from there and support your local indie, so that is definitely a great option. They also have some cute little trinkets that you can buy in this shop, and helpfully it is right next to York Minster, just as you're facing the front of the Minster to your left, so you can nip in there once you've done your obligatory tour of history. And whilst we're speaking about the Minster, how can I pass up the opportunity to speak about the York Minster Bookshop? This bookshop is tiny, and yet so big. There are 4 or 5 floors. I'm not entirely sure how many. You definitely go down to the basement, and then there's the main floor, and there's 2 or 3 going up. This is packed to the rim with books. There are some brand new books that are usually like offcuts from publishers, so they are reduced in price as well as having a fantastic second-hand collection with even some things such as folio titles in there. This is a gorgeous one to wander around and just squeeze yourself through. Not the best one to go to if you have a big backpack, as I learnt many times. But it is absolutely gorgeous and lovely to have a look around. They also have a print room which has different prints as well as some maps, so of course I was really interested in that room as well. There's some fantastic options in here, and especially going downstairs and looking at the non-fiction section that they have, I can go away after spending a lot of money in there because there are some fascinating titles.
Oh, you're getting those ones?
Yes. And handily, if you do go to the Minster Bookshop through a little alleyway, then you go past Hebden Tea, which usually has some samples outside, so that can warm you up a little bit if you're going in the season that I'm filming this, which is ever faster coming close to winter. Next up, just off of the Shambles Market and just next door to Valhalla the pub, we have the Portal Bookshop. This is a bookshop and cafe, so if you go upstairs you can get coffee and cake and pastries. I went up there once with Eleanor from Eleanor Nicoter and we had a wonderful little sit down with some lovely baked goods, so we had a great time there. The bottom floor is entirely filled out with books and every single book in that bookshop has LGBTQ+ representation or is written by an author who fits into that demographic. They often also have extra little sticker flags sticking out of the books so you know what demographic is represented within the novel, which I really enjoy. And they have sections for children, for YA, non-fiction. They also have picture books for young children, a romance section and a huge sci-fi and fantasy section. I really love this little bookshop. They also have some little trinkets that you can buy that are LGBTQ+ related in there. And I love that there is a haven for the LGBTQ+ communities here in York City Centre. This is such a lovely little shop. It is tiny, as are pretty much all of the bookshops that are in York, apart from Waterstones, but it is a fantastic decision if you want to pop in there and take a look around. You'll be supporting a fantastic little indie shop. And lastly, but not least, just down from Whitmer Gate is the Criminally Good Bookshop. This is a brand new bookshop for 2024. It opened up in March and it is entirely focused on crime, mystery and thriller books. This is a gorgeous bookshop. They have done a fantastic job at designing this. Downstairs along the walls, one entire bookshelf is filled with books that have been translated and they are organised via continent, and after that it is all British authors with little tags to denote when it is an author from Yorkshire. Seeing as that's where we are, you might want to pick up something from the local area. Then, closer to the till, there is a whole Agatha Christie section, which also does have some Sherlock and things, but it's pretty much just an Agatha Christie section, which I deeply appreciate. And if you head upstairs, there is a YA section, as well as a non-fiction section. This is a really great addition to the York Bookshop market. I really like that we have some options that are genre specific as well. It really makes finding those certain books easier, and it fits into the vibe of York with the crime and mystery. I was lucky enough to do a run of all of these bookshops as well as some charity bookshops as well when we had a BookTube Meet Up at the end of October, and that was so much fun. I really do recommend, if you can pop into any of these, taking a look whilst you're here in York. It is a beautiful city. I moved here 3 years ago and I have come to adore this city so much. Having these extra bookish shops around just makes me love it even more. Also, if you'd like to have a look, although of course it won't be as useful for anyone if you're not from the area, there is the library, which is actually on your way from the train station into town if you go by the standard route, and that is a fantastic library with so many different options, as well as loads of different facilities that you might need to use. Please let me know down in the comments below if you've ever been to York or any of these bookshops, and if you're planning to come here, let me know which of these is going to be your first port of call. Thank you so much for watching, folks, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!